Welcome to San Joaquin Spotlight, a public affairs program featuring conversations about life in the central San Joaquin Valley. This program is brought to you in partnership between KFSR 90.7 FM and CMAC Fresno. I'm your host, Sevag Tateosian. Today, we have an exciting show. We have a live performance on San Joaquin Spotlight, and we're also going to be talking about the Pink Show, which is coming up in Fresno. In the studio, we have Johnny with the guitar, and we have Angelo.
Hi.
Both of them are local artists, and I understand, Johnny, you're going to be performing right now.
Yes, I'm going to play my song, My Old Guitar, the one that I wrote for the Pink Show.
And let's hear that right now.
Sounds like the melody you said while I was growing up. You care from the childbirth my hands you held, yeah. Both of your arms were my refuge, protected me from falling from the deepest heart of the sea. You breathe life on me, yeah. So sorry I broke the guitar you bought for me. Were my refuge, protected me from falling from the deepest heart of the sea. You breathe life on me, yeah.
What a remarkable performance that was by Johnny, our very own local artist who's in the studio. And we're going to talk a little bit more about his artwork. We got a chance to hear him. Now we're going to talk about his artwork in a little bit. But before we go there, let's talk to Angelo. Angelo,
hi.
Welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it, having us.
Talk about the Pink Show a little bit.
The Pink Show is a show that's dedicated to art for people who are suffering from cancer or who have possibly passed from cancer. Also for those who just wish to express the dilemma of cancer, some of the pain that comes with cancer, or a chance to give a sense of hope for the community and those people suffering from cancer. It was started by Cynthia Chapman Manchusek, and it's been going for about 7 years.
And one of the things, you actually did a piece of artwork which we're going to look at in a few seconds, but you actually take time to draw. What do you think when you draw and paint?
When I'm drawing and painting, it's sort of a magical kind of place. I do have a subject, and I'm trying to express, in the case of one of my paintings, I'm trying to express a feeling of hope or uplifting. And so I use colors, and I arrive in that state to express these emotions.
And we're going to look, let's do that now. Let's take a look at a piece of artwork that Johnny has done, or Angelo has done.
Angelo, yeah.
I'm excited that both of you are here in the studio because I think you're very talented artists.
Thank you.
Let's take a look. So what is going on there?
So in this case, it's a woman. She's going through chemotherapy. So in this case, she's lost her hair, and I've placed her in a very peaceful environment with mountains, a pink sunset, and I have lilies which are lifted up by the wind. And this overall feeling is uplifting kind of composition, and the colors are a feeling of hope. They're not dark or dramatic. They're bright, saturated. So in this, this is an abstract type of subject in terms of I'm not saying words, I'm saying emotions or ideas through a visual statement, which is the painting.
What are you thinking when you're painting? I mean, are you in your own, athletes will say, I'm in my zone.
Yes,
when you're painting,
I would
is there
agree
a
with
zone?
the athletes. There is a zone, and it's very much like football or baseball or something like that, except that you're using colors and you're using composition, light, you're using paint brushes. In this case, I was using acrylic paint. So what I'm sort of thinking is, for instance, when I'm working on the face, it's more technical. I'm concerned with structure, anatomy, things like that, and it's a little more logical. But when I go for colors and when I'm mixing my palette, I'm in a whole other state. It's a very natural state. It's not very logical. It's more abstract, I would say.
Johnny,
Yes.
tell us about this song.
I wrote the song and dedicated it to my mother. I did it actually at the same time while I was doing the paintings, my old guitar. Excuse me. And that guitar is the one that my mother bought for me when I was around 13 years old. And I have my brother send it to me over here in the United States, and probably because of the different weather, the guitar started falling into pieces.
Oh, okay.
So I want to preserve what my mother gave me, so I decided to turn them into an artwork. And it's dedicated for her, and she actually passed away 1994 with
I'm
breast
sorry
cancer.
to hear about that.
And it's really, really devastated me about it.
You have a talent with music, but you also have a talent with art. And in a few seconds, we're going to take a look at one of your pieces of art. I asked about the zone, and I asked you the same thing. Are you in your zone when you're producing art?
Yeah, he's right. Like you're in a certain zone that you actually don't notice anything around you, but you just want to give in what you're feeling and what you're thinking, and you put them into canvas.
Let's take a look at a piece of art that Johnny did. Tell us about this.
Yeah, that's the my old guitar, and that's the old guitar that my mother bought for me, and I preserve it by putting into a piece of plywood. And when I found out that the Pink Show is coming again, I decided to use this piece to enter on the Pink Show.
How did you get involved in the Pink Show? When was it that you realized there's this Pink Show and I want to become a part of it?
Actually, in 2010, I was like surfing the web, and I found the FresnoArt.net, and Cynthia posted the announcement, and when I found out, that was like around 12 a.m. that night, Friday night, and the submission day, the last day of the submission was that Saturday at 3:30 p.m.
So you had to work all night.
Yeah, I worked all night and decided to enter. And my intention is just to contribute, and because of my mother's passing about breast cancer, so I decided to create something that early morning, and made it through the submission, and won the piece. Actually, won the People's Choice Award.
Congratulations
Yeah,
on
thank
that.
you.
Angelo, tell us about why you got involved in art. And you know, your story is powerful too. You were telling me when we were off camera. I mean, you were working on the Pink Show.
Right.
Tell us that story.
I was completely healthy when I first was contacted by Sin. She said, "You gotta be part of this Pink Show. This Pink Show is for breast cancer awareness. It's for people who are suffering with cancer." And I said, "Okay, I'd love to do it. I can sort of see something that I could do for that show." And so I did it, and it did very well in the show. It won Best of Show for that particular show in 2011. But a couple years later, I recently found out that I also have cancer.
And
So,
you didn't know that
no,
prior
I
to
didn't.
working on the Pink Show.
It's ironic, yeah.
And so, what happens when you find out?
Well, it's one of those things where I was simply telling Sin, I said, I found out I have cancer, and she said, "Do you still want to do the show? And we will have a blue room for your painting, and we'll have people that are men that are artists who are suffering from cancer. Would you like to be part of that?" And I said, "Sure, I can see something for that." So it's a bit strange how the tables turned for me, and I really now have a personal experience with chemotherapy, losing my hair and some of the pain that's involved with that, the illness. So, and I have a certain sense that I didn't have in 2011 about what people are going through with cancer.
And in a few seconds, we're going to actually see another artwork that one of you did. But before we get there, I mean, what a story that you have. I mean, do you find yourself now more passionate about the Pink Show? Because, you know, you were volunteering for it before, and you were pretty passionate then.
I was very passionate. I was 100% passionate. I feel strongly about illness because we've all been ill. We can identify with illness. However, it did make it more personal, and I would say it's more intense now that I have cancer. This show gives me an opportunity to express my feelings about cancer, and so yeah, it did become more intense.
Let's take a look at this next art piece that one of you did, and tell us a little bit about, you know, this piece and why you did it, and, you know, what were you thinking?
Actually, yeah, that's the piece that I did the first time joining the Pink Show. That was 2010. The title of that is November 25, 1994, which is the day that my mother passed away. And I just decided to put the pink ribbon around it, which is the picture of my wife and my daughter. And my mom is the one in the bottom. And then I put some of the stamps that when she's sending me letters, yeah, I put them in there.
You know, you two, you've taken something negative and you've fought it. I mean, you know, I watch sports, so you're like a boxer in the ring, and you're fighting back, and you're using your energy to do it. Some people won't do that. Why do you do it so much? And let's start with you, Angelo, and Johnny. I'll have you answer the same question. Why do you do it? It's easy for you to just say, you know what, I give up. But you're not doing that. You're fighting it.
I do, you know, sometimes I do feel the dark side or the giving up kind of feeling. But I also feel inspired. This is a healing time. So, and I would like to survive this. I don't know whether I will, for certain, but I'm going to live each day as best as I can, fully, and one of the ways I can do that is through art. I can express how I feel. So I have to. It's something I've got to do.
And through your work, you're touching others and you're helping others. You may not know it, but you're doing that, and I can guarantee you you're doing that. Johnny, you the same question. I mean, this is very personal for you. Why put it out there? Why write a song about this guitar?
Yeah, actually, excuse me, when my mother passed away in 1994, I went on a deep depression after that. And after 3 years of depression, I said, I just gonna move on, or else nothing's gonna happen to me. So that's when I first made the autumn leaves paintings that dedicated to my mother. And I wrote a poetry poem for it, and then later on I decided to put a melody and it became a song. And
Beautiful song, by the way.
thank you.
Well written, powerful. The music flows. I mean, excellent.
Thank you.
We're going to take a look, Angelo, at a piece of artwork that you did in a few seconds. But what advice would you give someone out there who has a relative or themselves have cancer?
Yeah, each person is different. The cancer affects each person in different ways. Sometimes it's heavier, sometimes it's lighter. For myself, I like to stay in a state of positive thinking. I'm trying to stay with the least amount of stress that I can, and take care of my diet, my health, but also the state of my mind. Where do I want my mind to be at? And I think I would like it to be in an uplifting state of mind.
Let's take a look at one of the artwork that you did, and tell us a little bit about the colors that you used. Tell us a little bit about, what you were thinking when you did this painting, because you have a theme to your art. I don't know if you do this on purpose, but you have a lot of bright. I mean, you really use a lot of bright colors.
Absolutely, especially in these pieces. Sometimes I will use dark colors, but in this piece I definitely wanted something hopeful. I love autumn time. This is a self-portrait. I painted myself, which is not an easy thing to do. If we use a mirror and try to paint ourselves, we'll be backwards. So I took a photo of myself and then began to work from there to get a sense of what do I look like.
That's fascinating. I mean, that's...
Yeah. So, but the autumn leaves, blue is a peaceful color. I'm using tones, landscapes. These are natural kind of feelings of nature. These are all healing kind of themes. I think anybody that can see it will feel something of similar.
How long does it take you to do this type of artwork? And has there ever been times where you start a project and you go a total different direction than what you were thinking?
Absolutely. Yes, on the second question, definitely. I've gone different directions than I planned to go. Even within these paintings, I will realize I've completed something that is really magic, and I'll just keep that. And I didn't exactly plan it. So there's a certain spontaneity to painting. Having said that, I began as a child prodigy, painting and drawing all my life. So it
started young.
It's a lifetime process for me, in my case. But representational art takes some study. You study contour drawing, figure drawing, things like that to sort of give you tools to be able to create representational art. Now, but many artists do a variety of styles, and not all of them require so much training or skill. Yeah.
Johnny, I want to ask you, when are you going to write another song? And I mean, how do you decide? I mean, do you wake up one day and say, you know what, I need another song? Or does it come to you? Because I know artists that, they'll be sitting doing nothing or eating dinner, and then an idea comes to them and they stop what they're doing and they start working on the idea. How does that work with you?
Yes, you're right. It just comes up, and even whatever I'm doing, wherever I'm at, it just comes out, and I started humming and talking to myself, which is I'm mumbling the lyrics, and usually, especially when I was when I'm painting, that's when everything is coming out.
You know, when you write a song and you perform that song, you're actually showing the world a piece of you and a piece of your mind and a piece of this song. Was it hard at first to perform this song, or did it come naturally and it was with ease?
Yeah, actually, yeah, sometimes I get, or most of the time, I actually get nervous when I'm playing it in front of people. But if I'm just by myself, because that's what I'm used to do, I just sing to myself, and I don't compose and perform commercially. I just do it for my artwork, and it just comes out naturally sometimes. And like, I know I get nervous, but then when I'm already there, everything started coming up, and I get to play the song.
Angelo, I want to go back to you because we're going to show the audience another piece of work that you did in a few seconds. But before I go there, I mean, do you have projects like you've started? I mean, I'm visioning going over your house and seeing different projects at different stages. Am I correct?
Absolutely. I have many, I have maybe 20 or 30 projects currently in progress, and some of them take a long time. There's something that I sit on for a while. So I'll work on this one over here, then I'll bounce over and work on another project. Right.
So
Yeah.
let's take a look at this artwork that you did. And again, like before, tell us a little bit about, you know, what it is, you know, what were you thinking?
Actually, this piece is by Johnny.
Okay.
In this
Yeah,
case.
that's the first paintings that I did for my mother as a dedication after she passed away breast cancer. That's the one that I did 1997, and I wrote the poem Autumn Leaves, which is inspired by Nat King Cole's song. But I kind of, you know, changed the lyrics into what happened to my mother and what I've been going through. And then later on, I decided to put a melody in it and became a song.
Angelo, what are you, what we've noticed is you've got self-portraits and, you know, nature is important to you. Is that your style? What other things are you working on?
Oh, not always. I do like mechanized things sometimes, or abstract. I've expressed with a number of styles, but I would say realistic symbolism kind of is my overall style. It's a fantasy art, and that's the everything sort of falls under there to some degree. But sure, I love manufacture steampunk kind of things, or something that's a little more logical, linear.
You know, we're running out of time this week on the program, but tell us your piece of the Pink Show, because I really want our audience to go out and witness some of the work that both of you are doing. So, Angelo, what's your piece in the art show?
In this particular Pink Show, I have two pieces. I have my old 2011 piece, which is the Hope painting with the female, with the pink background. And then I also have my own self-portrait in the blue room. And it is it's a fairly blue painting, mostly blue. And that's per request of Cynthia Chapman. And I'm very excited about these two pieces. It's a fantastic opportunity for me. I feel so grateful to Cynthia and all the artists.
And you've mentioned Cynthia a couple of times. Very nice lady.
Oh,
What's her role in the Pink Show? Does she produce it?
Yeah, she produces it, and she calls everybody up, say, hey, here's a Pink Show. Sometimes she's been on the news, and she's promoted it, but it's her baby. And I'm just feel fortunate with Johnny to be one of the artists. There's a lot of artists like Louis Vuitton and what's some of the artists?
Valerie Green.
Margaret Hudson.
Margaret Hudson.
And
Yeah.
someone did Liz Harrelson, because Liz Harrelson, the
Yeah.
news anchor, I've seen pictures of her in the Pink Show.
Right, right.
Yes,
Can you,
Yeah.
either of you, talk about that?
That's the one that actually Cynthia Chapman Manusek did. Yeah, that's her creation.
She photographed
Yeah, she photographed.
her, and that's part of the display, but she's also going through cancer, or she was at one point going through healing from cancer. Yeah.
Johnny, what's your piece in the Pink Show?
The piece that I entered this time is my old guitar. which is like what I said earlier. I created out from my old broken guitar, and I painted it in black and throw the pink colors in it, which is symbolized of.
You know, I want to ask either of you this question. It seemed like years ago it was taboo to talk about cancer. Is it okay for people to come up to you and ask you questions? I mean, it's not easy to talk about. It's a very tough thing. But are you welcoming to the public or people asking you to about your situation?
In my case, I am. I feel it's an open subject. I feel very comfortable about talking about it.
That's right.
And Johnny, how about you? I mean, you've lost your mother from this.
Yes. Yeah. For me, it's actually we really need to talk about it because when we're talking about certain thing, we're educating actually the masses, people that don't have any idea or never experienced anything like this. And like what happened to me, I never experienced myself having that cancer, but because of my relatives and my mother having that, I got to experience how to dealing with that emotion.
And is it being talked about more and more? I mean, the older I get, it seems like the more people are talking about it, the more we're seeing in the media about it. Are you two finding that as well?
Yeah, I would say it is becoming more common too, and the awareness of it is growing. It is a big concern, and it's something I think talking about will be part of the healing process, the stelloma cancer. I mean, there's lots of research facilities working on it, and so I would say it's definitely more common to talk about.
So we're almost out of time this week on the program. Real fast, how can people find out more about you and your artwork? And the same question to you, Johnny.
I have some Facebook, A.S. Angelo. Just go to A.S. Angelo on Facebook. You can find me.
And you can also Google my name, Johnny Otilano, or you can go to my personal website, www.johnnyesjotilano.com. I'm also in Facebook, Johnny Otilano.
Both of you, thank you so much for coming on this program, and thank you for educating me and our audience about this Pink Show and all the stuff happening.
Thank you, Sevag. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
That's all for this edition of San Joaquin Spotlight. My name is Sevag Tateosian. Today, we heard from Angelo and we heard from Johnny. They're both part of this Pink Show, and they're both artists. Tune in next week for a new edition.
Say you love me.